All right, bestie, today's video is not for the faint of heart. I am putting the nice girl coach vibes aside and I am giving it to you straight. These are the 5 things as your wellness bestie I would tell you if I was not afraid to hurt your feelings, because the truth is we need to hear what we need to hear in order to change, regardless sometimes of how it makes us feel. No one wants to say these things out loud, but they're exactly why you are not getting the results that you want. And as your wellness bestie, it is my job and responsibility to honestly just be real with you, even if it stings. Let's dive in. This one may hit a nerve, but I've got to say it. You are putting way too much responsibility on other people for your health. I can't tell you over the past decade how many times I have heard that trainer wasn't good for me, the program wasn't a good fit, that diet didn't work, and sure, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of credit here. Not everything you do in your health and wellness habits is going to be the perfect fit. It does take a little bit of trial and error. But most of the time, the real issue isn't actually the plan. It's because you did not stick to it. You did not show up consistently enough to give it a real chance. And this is what I call taking the easy way out. You are placing the blame. And this, by the way, this does not just apply to our health and our fitness and seeing results. This applies to all areas of life. We are giving our power away by blaming someone else instead of taking accountability, putting the power back in our hands and making very conscious choices and choosing change. You have the power to choose change every single day, and you do that by your actions. There is no magical supplement, coach, program that is going to come in and save you. You need to show up every day for you. You need to do the workouts. You need to eat high protein. You need to eat a well-balanced diet. Lower your stress, get that hydration, focus and narrow in on your sleep. Make these good choices every single day, and if you don't, sorry babe, but it is on you. Having this mindset where you put blame on other people is exactly why you're stuck. I know that taking responsibility is uncomfortable and it can be uncomfortable, but the good news is that it's also freeing, because if you can accept that you are the problem, then you can also accept that you are part of the solution and start making that change today. And look, I know taking responsibility is easier said than done, and sometimes it's actually not about discipline and willpower. There are things going on underneath the surface that are getting in the way of the success that you want. I'm at this point in my life where I thought things would be very clear and settled by now, especially with my birthday just passing. And yet, even me, I still have days where self-doubt creeps in, stress, of course, and just the weight of unmet expectations. It's a reminder that health isn't just physical. Your mental and emotional play a huge role too. That is exactly why I have partnered with today's sponsor, BetterHelp. They've not only helped me personally work through a lot of things going on in this head, but I know that it is the perfect fit for you as well. Yes, I can guide you along with tens of thousands, literally, of women around the world physically, but I am not a licensed therapist and I leave that work to the experts. Sometimes what we really need is someone who can help us see things from a new perspective, dig a little bit deeper into what's going on, and give us new tools in order to move forward. With BetterHelp, it is really easy. All you have to do is go online, fill out a questionnaire, and you'll get matched with a therapist. If you do a couple sessions and it's not a right fit, you can switch therapists at no extra cost, which is amazing, because honestly, I've had situations in the past, not with BetterHelp, but even with other therapists, where I've done a couple sessions, I'm like, no, that's not right. So I love that they have that. And with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, it's definitely a platform that you can trust and that I can trust as well. So if you've been thinking about therapy but putting it off, here is your sign. I know I've been there too. I will put the link in the description and that will give you 10% off your entire first month of therapy. Thank me later. This one is huge. I literally see it all the time, even with family members and friends. People are chasing a quick fix. They want the cleanse. They want the 10-day detox program. They want the skinny teas that are going to make them de-bloat. And yeah, okay, fine. Maybe for 10 days you are going to feel unstoppable. You're excited, you're motivated, and you're convinced that you finally found the thing that worked for you. But then what happens? You burn out, you give up, and you are back to square one. So that is why quick fixes are never the solution long term, and instead we need to find a plan that is sustainable for us. Something that we love, that we want to show up to day after day, week after week, because when we're consistent with a sustainable plan that we actually enjoy, number one, we're going to be excited to do all of these habits that we know make us feel so good. But number two, even more importantly, we're going to be able to do this long term. These quick fixes are the very thing keeping you stuck, and honestly, they're just a distraction from what actually works. I'm talking again, going back to the basics, the things that I had just mentioned. Yes, it's not dramatic, it's not that sexy, but it's just what works. It's what I've seen work for me, and it is what I've seen work for literally thousands of women all around the world in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It's actually really simple. And yes, it may not give you that instant gratification, but it will put you on the path to results that actually last. This next one is going to ruffle some feathers, but it is too real not to say it. Everyone these days loves to throw around the word balance, even me. I consider myself a very balanced person. However, when people use that term, a lot of the times what they're actually saying is, I don't want to give up my habits, but I expect and I want to see the results. And there's a disconnect between the two. Let's be honest, going out every weekend, skipping half of your workouts, and eating whatever you want is not balance. That is you wanting the comfort of your old habits while expecting your discipline of, eating healthy here and there and still getting in some workouts paying off. But you're literally in outer space because that is not going to happen. Real balance is built after you have created discipline and sustainability. It is earned and it is not handed to you. So I always say it is a lot easier to maintain results once you hit your goal. You have to put in less work to maintain than it took to actually get to that point. So once you get to that point where you hit your goals, you lost the weight, you gain the muscle, you drop the fat, whatever your goals are, and everyone's goals are going to look different. But once you get there, that's when you can start to really lean into this idea of balance. Like, yeah, I am going to eat at home 90% of the week, but that other 10%, like tonight I'm going out for dinner for an event. I'm not gonna not go to the event because I don't wanna go and eat out of the house for dinner, but that's part of my 10%. And that's truly how you create balance. So the next time that you tell yourself it's all about balance, ask yourself, am I actually living in balance, or am I just making choices that are basically canceling out my goals? Because baby girl, you cannot have the best of both worlds. This one hurts, but you need to hear it. No, your metabolism isn't broken. No, you are not seeing results just because of your genetics. What you actually have are inconsistent habits. Yes, metabolism is real, and yes, hormones totally play a role. I'm definitely not going to downplay either of those things. But a lot of the time, the reason why people have broken metabolisms or their metabolisms are just slower is because they've gone through years of yo-yo dieting, inconsistencies with food, diet, exercise, under eating, binging, not sleeping, not getting proper recovery, and ultimately, the worst thing, stressing your body out. Then, when people don't see their results, it is really just easy to blame, again, something other than yourself. So instead of having that self-awareness and realizing it's because of the inconsistent habits that you are choosing every single day, you're placing that blame on your metabolism when in reality, that's just not true. And trust me, I say this with love because I have totally been there. I thought for years, because of all the hard work that I was putting in and I was just not seeing the results, that it was genetics or that, my metabolism was also broken. But once I started to fuel my body properly, do the right workouts, take the recovery, prioritize walking, everything changed. And by the way, my metabolism didn't magically fix itself. My habits fixed my metabolism. My habits fixed how my body worked and how my body was responding to everything that I was feeding it, literally from the food to the movement to everything external. All of that being said, if you are still blaming biology, you are giving yourself an excuse to stay stuck. But if you start pointing the finger at yourself, again, you give yourself the power to change. This is the harshest truth of all. You are so focused on how you look in the mirror and how you look in an Instagram photo that you've actually lost sight of what real health looks and feels like. And if this is actually relatable to you, you're not alone. This is just honestly what society has turned into. You're undereating all week and then you're binging in secret. You're overtraining to punish yourself because of the dessert that you ate last night. And you probably snapped a photo and put it on your Instagram story, by the way. You're obsessing over abs, angles, filters, but literally ignoring the fact that you're exhausted, bloated, inflamed, holding onto water, tired, and actually not even feeling good. But on the outside, you're getting that photo in, you're sharing to Instagram, and everything looks great, amazing, peachy, rose-colored glasses vibes. And listen, I get it. I care about how I look, but I care more about how I actually look and feel versus other people's perceptions of how I look and feel. So for me, I would never, post a picture of dessert, but then not actually eat it. I want people to see that I am eating dessert, but then I am going the next day having a green juice or bone broth for breakfast and getting in my workout that day, because that is realistic. And when we share habits that are relatable to other people, yes, we are uplifting that and we're giving the good vibes and the energy out. But the issue is when we're putting on a facade, we're showing something to the world that we're not actually doing for ourselves. If looking healthy for you is more important than actually being healthy, you will always feel a disconnect, because no amount of external validation can ever make up for how badly you actually feel in your own skin. And it's very sad, but it is true. And I hope actually everyone who's watching, nobody relates to this, because this is probably one of the most saddening and unfortunate situations to be in. Because for me, I personally want all of you to feel good and show that, yes, to the world, but I want you to actually feel it. So there you have it. That was hard for me, but I'm so happy that we were able to talk through this. I was able to share with you harsh truths that some of us probably need to hear, especially when it comes to wellness and health. And I know some of these probably stung, but the sting is your wake-up call. If you felt some type of emotion after something that I said in this talk, that is probably the area that you need to narrow in and focus on, and that is completely fine. None of us are perfect, I promise, not even me. There's things always that I'm trying to focus on and work on, but that's the beauty of life. That's how we transform. That's how we become the healthiest, strongest versions of all of ourselves. And I love doing it as a community, as a collective with all of you. So thank you as always for being here. Again, I hope you took something away from this chat. Make sure to check out my latest video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any feedback, anything else you want to share with what I talked about today, and I will see all of you next time.